I always tend to start with our previous winners to ask about the significance of winning the PFA Players Player of the Year award, being recognised by your professionals. Yeah. How did you reflect on that at the time you received it, and how do you reflect on it now?
Oh, probably more now. At the time, I realised how big it was, and as I said, I knew I had a chance of winning it because of the season I had, but then any of my teammates could have won it as well. And I think the nominees, we were the first three, Franz Tyson, Paul Mariner and myself. So when I'd won it, I was part of a great team, and I probably won it because I'd scored a lot of goals from midfield. But even now, I talk about it all the time, and when I say like how many goals I'd scored, people go, "And you played midfield," so it's quite...
Please explain that to us though, how you were 23 goals in the season you won it. Yeah. You scored in both legs of the UEFA Cup final, and you played across the board, but what was the secret to the amount of goals you scored?
No, I think the secret as well was we were a team that made lots of chances, and I came late a lot, because I was the holding midfield player, but the whole season I scored 36 goals. The team knew the way I played, and I would come late and get in crosses for headers and finishes. But I actually came as a centre-back to the club, and I made my debut as a centre-back and finished as a centre-back. But I could do a bit of everything, if you know what I mean. I was a holding midfield player who helped the defence, but then I could score goals.
You were part of a great team that is still remembered as one of the greater teams, and led by Sir Bobby Robson. Try, if you can, to explain what made that team so special and what the significance was for Ipswich as a football club. Yeah. The fact that you were able to accomplish what you did.
I think Bobby was building a team. We won the FA Cup in '78, and he started building the team. Then between then and '81, a few of the younger players came through, like Butcher and Osman, and as I said, George Billy and myself came through at '81. But then to make it slightly, one of the best Ipswich teams ever was he signed the two Dutch players, Franz Tyson and Arnold Muren, and they were like the top of the cake as such, and they just made us a lot better than we should have been. But the mixture of them and us was a proper, a real good team. And in my opinion, that year we should have won the treble. We should have not just won the UEFA Cup, but should have won the league and the FA Cup. We were in to the late stages.
I guess we could start with the goalkeepers. There's only been two goalkeepers won it, Peter Shilton and Pat Jennings. You played against Pat Jennings in the FA Cup final, right? In '78.
I did.
Hit the post a couple of times.
Yeah, I played against Shilton, for Forest and whatever. But I'm actually going with Pat Jennings. I know people might be slightly surprised, but I just think he played, I think, over 100 times for Ireland and Tottenham and Arsenal, and he was a real top goal. Both of them were top. That's why you get picked PFA player, but for me, I'm picking Pat Jennings as my goalkeeper.
I'm curious as to how you've looked to build up yours.
Well, I'm doing, because I still play five-a-side at my age. I've got one defender.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick Paul McGrath because he was young and he was, top. It looked quite easy for me.
It's in towards McGrath! Oh, that's a beauty. Minute and a half of the second half played. Paul McGrath's first goal in the Premier League.
When I watched him play, I thought he looks quite comfortable, and nobody got by him. He was strong, and so I'm picking him as my defender. And then I'm going to pick in my sort of middle. I'm going to go for Stevie Gerrard. I know that was maybe a surprise, but he's young, got legs, and whatever. And I'm going to pick two front players who are going to be Henry and Bergkamp.
Ooh.
That's my five, which I think they're not bad if you're for a five-a-side team crew, because I still play five-a-sides now, and I know what you need to win games.
Like a Bergkamp and a Henry.
Yeah.
Why them?
Why them? Firstly, Bergkamp would never. He can make goals and score. You know, make goals and score goals. You know, he had the ability, you know, to basically keep the ball, and that's what you need to do in five-a-sides. And he's got the ability to make chances for Henry, who's got pace. He's got everything about him as a striker. It's people are having a go at me for not picking Kenny Dalglish. And Kenny Dalglish is the best player I've played at 11-a-side. But for me, he was not a five-a-side player.
I guess your benefit when picking this team is that you played all the various positions as well. If we just end with Steven Gerrard, you having played, you know, he scored a lot of goals from midfield, as did he.
Yeah.
What is it that makes him so special?
I think he can do he can pass the ball for fun as well, and you need that in midfield. You need somebody that can get stuck in, score goals and pass it, and I think he's got that.